I'm Jami Peterson, and today I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to get cool craft projects off of your computer and onto your table. Around the office, I'm known as the creative one, so I'm always getting myself involved in parties, projects, any kind of event you can think of. Well, now I found this great software called Colored Impressions from Lasting Impressions, which is going to help me with any event. Today, I'm going to be helping my coworker plan a Halloween party for a bunch of kids. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do after you install the program is open it up. And I'm just going to move my cursor down to Start New Project box. I'm clicking once. This is where you decide which page size you want to work with. As you can see, there are plenty of options. If you scroll up and down with these arrow keys, you can tell which size you want to use. I'm just going to go with the standard 8.5 by 11 page. I'll simply click it once and it appears on my screen. To move on, I simply move the cursor to the Next Step button at the bottom of the screen. Click it once and it brings up the page where you can insert pictures, shapes, clip art, and text. The cool thing about this software is that it matches with the Lasting Impressions brass templates. If you want to do any embossing, you simply look for your image alphabetically and numerically. It's Halloween, so I'm going to use L1077, my big bat. I'm going to scroll down till I find the image I want, and I can click once and it appears in my preview window. If that's what I want to use, I'll simply click twice and it appears onto my sheet. When I try to resize the image, it pops up a little warning saying that if I make it larger or smaller, the embossing template will no longer work with it, so you can't mess this up. If you're not worried about embossing, feel free to change the size. Today we're just going to use our bat and move it upwards by clicking and dragging, and I'm going to add some text. I want to make a place card for my guests, so I'm going to click the text button right here once, and a window pops up where I type the name Rochelle because I know she'll be attending. I can change the size of Rochelle's name simply by highlighting the text and clicking the size box arrow. I have several choices and I want this pretty large, so I'm going to click 72, and you can see that it pops up and shows you right there on the screen how large it's going to be. I can also change the font by clicking the font box button. I'm going to stick with Times New Roman, click OK, and it should appear on the screen. Now I'm just going to move that by clicking and dragging my selected box right back underneath my bat. I'm ready to move on to the next page. I'm going to go back down to my menu, click Next Step once, and here we are on the color page. I can change the colors of my images simply by clicking once, and you can see the color pops up into the preview box. And if I like that color, I'll drag my cursor across to the image and click once, and it changes the entire thing right there for me. I don't know about this orange, so I'm going to go back to our original black color. Let's move on. Click Next Step once, and here I'm ready to print. The one thing that you want to know about this page is just make sure that this top box has your printer listed. If everything is correct, simply move your cursor down to the print flower and click to begin printing. So I've printed out our design onto regular paper and it looks great, but I want to give it an extra something. So I printed it again on our Lasting Impressions cardstock. You can just see how that makes the design even better, simply with a little color. So what we're going to make is my place card party favor that I told you about earlier. I'm simply going to trim the edges of this, and I'm not going to measure really. I'm just going to make sure I don't cut off my bat's wing. And we'll just slice it down like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, being careful not to clip off my bat's wing. Now I'm ready to fold. I'm going to make my first fold right underneath the name. And again, I'm not going to measure. You can just do this by sight. My second fold is going to be at the top of the bat wings. I'm going to give myself about 2 inches, and I'm going to fold my approximately 1 inch lip. Now, that's going to be my front panel. I still need to make a base support, so I'm going to take 2 finger lengths and fold. So that's your third fold, and that's going to be your base support. And I just need a piece of double stick tape to make the whole thing stick together nicely. And now we're ready to make the cuts. I want to make a little bit of a cut so I can have a sling for my party favor. It's going to be so easy. I'm just going to cut down the center to approximately the middle of the bat wing and repeat on the other side. So once you've made those cuts, stand the tent back up and simply push that middle part down. You can see it makes a nice little sling for your party favor, which could be a candy bar, but in this case, I'm about safety first, cavities later. So I've inserted a glow stick for trick-or-treating. We've also finished the edges with black ink, and there is my completed place card party favor. So I'm not quite done yet. This software was so much fun that I made some other stuff. Let me show you what else we did. Keeping with our bat theme, you can see I've printed 2 more images out, and this time on vellum. I'm going to make cool little vellum windows like so. And I'm going to emboss them. So we're going to take this template that I was talking about earlier. See what a perfect match that is. It's gray. It's going to make this so easy. I'm going to show you a little trick that I like to do. I put the template on the top, and then we're going to flip this over and set it on our light box from Lasting Impressions. You can also put down a piece of double stick tape just so that that stays perfectly still. And I'm simply going to rub the image with my embossing tissue. I'm going to pick up my stylus and follow the lines on the template, pressing gently. Once you're finished with your main image, I'm going to move on to my lettering. And I'm going to switch out my brass templates. I want something a little bit more interesting this time, so instead of following the straight lines, I'm going to do a polka dot pattern. It's going to be really cool, and it's easy. Just push your stylus down into the template and go along the lines. It's just a fun way to do something different with embossing. Let me show you how neat that looks. When we scuff it, you can really see the pattern on the letter emerge. Continue to scuff your entire image until you have something super cool like that. Now we're going to take our vellum window and insert it into our goodie bag. I've just bought these colored bags, and you're going to want to put a piece of cardboard into the bag before you make your cuts, so you don't go through both sides. Let me show you what it looks like when it's cut. This is about 6.5 by 3.5, but you'll want to measure depending on your image. We're going to flip it over and show you that I've pre-inked these edges just for a little more floof. And I put my vellum window into the opening